Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. The 55-year rule. What is it? Does it protect you? Are you going to qualify? Is it an automatic thing? What can you expect with it? Well, this has to do with reexaminations from the VA. Now, the reexamination from the VA on your service-connected condition could drive your rating lower. They could reduce you. So the elimination of a reexamination or potential of a reexamination is an important thing. Even Stan agrees. Stan's my rooster, for those that don't know. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. If you want to support the channel in other ways, consider being a member. You can do that by going to the home page. You'll see the highlighted members and a join button. Thank you so much to all you members. I really do truly appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate all you subscribers, everybody who hits the thumbs up and watches the video. The ask here is really, look, hit the thumbs up and let the video run. Let's jump into the 55-year rule. This is kind of buried in the 38 CFR. CFR stand, and you hear people saying this stuff all the time. CFR, it's the Code of Federal Regulations for the VA. It's under the 3.327 Reexaminations section. I'm going to read to you directly from the CFR on reexaminations because reexaminations are important to understand because they can produce negative situations like a reduction, which is why it's always important to keep up your medical documentation if you have a future exam scheduled. What happens here is when you file your claim with the VA and the VA awards you service connection for that claim, they may or may not set out a future examination because they're not sure if you could potentially get better from that condition. Some good examples would be cancers and mental health are good examples of having future reexaminations. So let's read directly here from the CFR. This is basically the rule book. So it's under A, general reexaminations, including periods of hospital observation, will be requested whenever VA determines there is a need to verify either the continued existence or the current severity of a disability. So they may re-examine you to see if you're still the same or if you've gotten better, right? Generally, re-examinations will be required if it is likely that a disability has improved or if evidence indicates there has been material change in a disability or that the current rating may be incorrect. Individuals for whom re-examinations have been authorized and scheduled are required to report for such re-examinations. So I'm going to preface this, even though we're going to talk about the 55-year rule, we got to front load it, right, with the information that surrounds it, which is re-examinations. Even if you're over 55 and you get a notification that you have a re-examination, you must appear for it, okay? So that's basically what they're telling you here. So required to report for such re-examinations. Paragraphs B and C of this section provide general guidelines for requesting re-examinations. This is for the VA, right? This is the VA's rule book. So this section, paragraphs B and C of this section provide general guidelines to the VA for requesting re-examinations, but shall not be construed as limiting VA's authority to request re-examinations or periods of hospital observation at any time in order to ensure that a disability is accurately rated. So the VA reserves the right to do a re-examination if they feel that it's needed, is basically what they're saying. However, for the most part, this is kind of how they follow it, all right? So paragraph B here, compensation cases. Paragraph C is with regard to pension cases. So there's two types of compensation you can get, either through pension, which is a low and no income kind of a safety net program for wartime veterans. And then you have the service-connected compensation, which is your bad back, your sleep apnea, mental health, and so forth. So compensation cases, scheduling re-examinations, assignment of pre-stabilization ratings requires re-examination within the second 6-month period following separation from service. So that's the folks that are exiting service. Following this is the part that's most of us. Following initial Department of Veterans Affairs examination or any scheduled future or other examination, re-examination, if in order, will be scheduled within not less than 2 years nor more than 5 years within the judgment of the rating board, unless another time period is elsewhere specified. Typically, what you're going to see is the VA awards you in your award letter and information from the VA. You're going to read in there that they have you set for a future exam. Typically, that's going to be somewhere around 3 to 5 years. In this case, it's saying between 2 and 5 because even though I'm going to talk about the 55-year rule here in a minute, there is a 5-year rule also. So that's why they have it in that little time frame. So between 2 to 5 years, and let's move on. So number 2 here. No, this is where we're getting to the important part. No periodic future examinations will be requested. No periodic future examinations will be requested in service-connected, your bad back, your neck, your sleep apnea, mental health, whatever. In service-connected cases, no periodic re-examination will be scheduled when the disability is established as static. Okay, static is the key word. Now, what do they consider static? For the 55-year rule, in cases of veterans over 55 years of age, except under unusual circumstances. Unusual circumstances is a wide range here. Okay, so typically what you're going to see though is things like cancer. Okay, cancer, again, if it goes into remission, they're going to lower you. Let's say that's the only thing you're rated for. You'll be at 100% when it's active, and then they're going to bring it down when it goes into remission. So, but other things, if you have migraines, GERD, lumbar condition, degenerative disc disease, arthritis, whatever, what they're looking at here is, okay, if they did not have you as static, meaning your condition is not likely to get any better over time, and they have you for a future exam, those future exams should cease if you hit the age of 55, unless it's already scheduled. Remember, up above, it said that if it's scheduled, you must appear. So sometimes the VA is going to screw up. They're not going to get it right. My suggestion here is if you're 55 or older and you're not sure if you have a future exam on anything, call the VA and call them on their toll-free 1000 number and ask them, what conditions do I have that are considered static? And they'll tell you, and then you can ask them, hey, look, I'm 55, shouldn't they all be static? And again, it's except for under unusual circumstances. My suggestion is always work with an accredited rep, find a local accredited rep, work with them, have the conversation with them. They can get access into the VA system. They can see what conditions you have rated as static and which ones are not. And then they can reach out to the VA and see if there's a way that they can switch it from a not static to a static based on the fact that you're 55 years of age, because your condition of GERD is now not likely to get any better simply based on age, and that you're going to be getting older, obviously not younger, and things tend to get worse. So GERD would be a good example that if they didn't have you rated as static for GERD and you're over 55, you might want to have that conversation and have them switch it over to static. And again, working with an accredited rep, they can help check to see where you're at with that. So with that, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.